What are we going to be talking about tomorrow morning when we digest Microsoft's earnings? I assume I'm going to be focused on CapEx and just how much they're spending and what the commentary around it is. And is there anything that indicates they're concerned somehow about, what are you smiling for?
Well, because if they say that they're not spending a lot because they don't have an ROI, then NVIDIA and they go down. If they say they're spending a lot, and they're hoping there's an ROI, then their stock goes down, and you get NVIDIA down.
So I guess we have the answer. The answer is don't buy Microsoft going into the print.
Well,
at least
you could say it's down enough that you can, but I think the odds favor other stocks. That's all. The odds favor other stocks. And I think that these stocks have had a big move. They've been considered share donors. Their charts are absolutely awful. And a lot of people just say, you know what? I see what's going on. You have to buy smaller cap and get out of bigger cap. You have to buy F5. And yeah, I wish that there was enough money around that you didn't have to sell the Mag 7, but it seems like the honeypot. And that's what you see. Well, you look at that chart.
An enormous amount of the market cap of the S&P.
Yes, and so a lot of people say they made a lot.
Often.
Amazon. I think Amazon's going to be a really good quarter. Now, maybe by then the Mag 7 will be down enough that you want to pick at it. But I was watching this show with Mark Zuckerberg and
Jensen Huang, yeah.
And it's all very positive. And I say at the end, this is so positive. I'm going to go buy Stanley Black & Decker.
So you are still in that camp that just says, what, take a break from the biggest of the big.
Just take a summer vacation from MAGA.
The broadening is not a bad thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean you should be heading into small caps. You just should be heading into perhaps
the small cap,
the Stanley Black & Deckers of the world.
The small cap. Now, Jensen Huang saying, of course,
now aren't there secular changes right now, 30 years later? Yeah,
there are, but we've had a huge move. And now we're waiting for ROI. So ServiceNow comes on. Bill McDermott.
We can be waiting a while for this ROI.
No, Bill McDermott said things were great, and the stock went up 100 points.
ServiceNow.
And then it didn't give up the gain, and that's because they've really made some real strides in making money in AI. Now the next thing is will Salesforce and Workday, will their AI product do well because they have the data, so to speak? And we won't know until we get to Dreamforce, and then we'll see. But yes, you're right. I mean, if ServiceNow is the only one that has an ROI, that's not great. No. It's not great.
But we've got a lot still to come, including a rare joint appearance, Jim mentioned it, from Mark Zuckerberg and Jensen Huang. They sat down to talk about the future of AI. They ended up swapping jackets. Look at that new look Zuckerberg is sporting.
Zuckerberg was very cool.
Wow, the hair.
It was very cool.
He looks like a
by the way,
person.
I kind of dream of one day, like you can almost imagine all of Facebook or Instagram being, like a single AI model.
Every single restaurant, every single website will probably in the future have these AIs.
There have just been too many things that I've tried to build and then have just been told, nah, you can't really build that by the platform provider, that at some level I'm just like, nah, that. For the next generation, we're going to go build all the way down and make sure that
there goes our broadcast opportunity.
Yeah, no, sorry. Sorry.
Hang on a beep.
Yeah. We were doing okay for like 20 minutes, but give me talking about closed platforms and I get angry.
That was Zuckerberg and Jensen Huang last night at SIGGRAPH. It's a major computer graphics conference. Jensen is a man of many talents. Apparently, he can also moderate fairly well in the moment, calling out Zuckerberg for dropping an F-bomb there.
And that is his home court. He happens to love that conference. That's why he's there. Okay, so look, all this is dross.
Dross. What a good word.
Thank you.
Well done.
What matters here is that Jensen Huang didn't like Mark Zuckerberg. They were opposed. I met at one point in one of the meetings I had with Jensen. He talked about how the model that Mark Zuckerberg had is based on combat, and that he didn't want to be part of combat. He wanted to be part of peace. So he didn't want.
What happened, Jim? Because to let our view, both of these guys. Right. So what happened here?
Okay, they got to know each other very well. They met each other a bunch of times out of work. And came to first a Pacman Terrace, and then over time they really genuinely enjoyed each other, and that's who they are. I mean, but I got to tell you, Jensen wanted it that way. Jensen knew that Mark wanted to be a gigantic client, okay, and he did not want to dislike him. He wanted to know more about him. I told him I thought that Zuckerberg was a totally reasonable man. You just have to like get off the desk and like see him in real life.
Right.
Not that, Jensen didn't say, hey, I want to meet you because Jim says you're
what
good.
What should
but
we think about the fact that, okay, these guys are now hugging and seemingly friends? Is there a
takeaway?
Yes, for the business community and for the world at large?
The takeaway is that Mark Zuckerberg believes in the Industrial Revolution. He believes in Blackwell. He believes that Blackwell is going to be, which is the latest iteration,
the next generation chip yet to
is
come
going
out,
to be video. And
soon.
Video is what everyone's been missing. See, I don't think people realize the step change between the current and the new is that they can feed everything video. It's not just feeding in the novel Moby Dick. You can feed movies of James Bond. And that's why they do have the robot that can pour drinks, so that you can say, and Jensen could
they train on all 13 years worth of our shows here, sitting here, the three of us? Could they train on that
When Jensen made me, it was frightening, because it was me. And he said that he had worked all weekend on the Philadelphia Lilt, which is not unlike Kate Winslet when she was in Mayor of Easttown.
They can input video, train on it, I guess, as well.
Yes. It's eerie, David, because no one would know that it wasn't
the rate of change is accelerating, and we haven't talked about it as often lately, but it's still coming.
Yeah, and I just think what you're seeing was not convenience. It was not convenience. They genuinely came to like each other. And I will tell you, I think that Mark Zuckerberg has changed. Now, when I text him, I say, listen, you got to come on about the Ray-Bans because the AI is good. I just get a heart. I don't get what I want, which is to come on. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to try.
Keep trying.
Then you have a stock that works. But they have to check off every single one of those boxes.
How can you say that Amazon's your favorite over NVIDIA? Come on, that's not possible.
Well, no. NVIDIA is my favorite company. Amazon's my favorite stock. They're very different. Because NVIDIA stock goes down pretty much every day versus the smaller cap semis like at one semi.
It is up 125%.
Right, but it's had a big run. It's the second best performer in the S&P. So I don't expect the second best performer in the S&P to knock everybody flat. And I know that I just say you own it, don't trade it. But there's people who just keep thinking, wow, this is going to be fantastic, I'm going to buy it. And these people are sunshine soldiers, David. They're summer patriots. I don't have time for them. With Jensen, it's Jensen. And he's mesmerizing. He's got a longer-term view. And if you sell the stock, you've decided that the longer-term view doesn't matter. I can't do that. The longer-term view is very bright for NVIDIA, but not for the stock, just for the company. They're very different animals right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, we are going to be discussing Microsoft and Amazon
but it's
and
exciting.
Meta and
exciting?
Apple as this week goes along.
Well, I mean,
given the earnings.
Listen to Zuckerberg. No one's going to pay. I mean, it was a fun thing to talk, but Zuckerberg's basically saying, "Listen, man, I need your stuff. I've got so many different ideas, and there's a great return on investment."
They're the only one open sourcing too with Llama 3, right?
Llama 3. Everyone says, "Hey, what's Llama 3?" The Llama 3 is the code, the secret. I just like both companies.
Yeah.
But do I like both stocks? I like Meta stock more than NVIDIA stock.
Okay, you like Meta more than NVIDIA. You like Amazon more than Meta.
Well, the advertising that you didn't like at YouTube could be unbelievable for Meta, especially because Reels turned out to be a better place to put a lot of things than TikTok. And that was on Zuckerberg. I remember when he unveiled Reels, and everyone said, "What an also-ran."
Yeah.
And yet, if anyone in a small business used Reels like we did at Bar San Miguel, Reels was really good. Great take rate. So anyway, you got to use the products. You have to just say, I want to use every product, like the Ray-Ban glasses that you laughed about.
I've not laughed at the Ray-Ban glasses. I laughed at the Vision Pro. Look at that. Shut them up.
All right, let's give an update on NVIDIA. This week, the entire market has been holding its breath and anxiously awaiting results from mega-cap tech giants this week, including Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple, as well as semiconductor companies including AMD, Intel, and Lam Research. Today, we got the results from Microsoft and AMD. Microsoft and AMD both beat on revenue and EPS. But let's get a little more specific. Microsoft reported growth of 29% for Azure and cloud services, which is a miss on expectations. That immediately sent Microsoft and NVIDIA down because that is not good news. Then shortly thereafter, we got AMD's earnings. AMD beat on earnings expectations, and get this. Their forecasted revenue for Q3 came in at $6.7 billion, which was a slight beat of the consensus estimate of $6.66 billion in Q3 revenue. This sent AMD higher, at least at the time of this recording, and it helped provided some relief to NVIDIA after NVIDIA traded lower from the Microsoft earnings report. Keep in in mind that I'm still going through these reports, and so these are just some quick initial takeaways for now. Right now, at the time of this recording, we are waiting for the Microsoft conference call, which is scheduled to begin at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. No doubt there will be many questions about CapEx spending, whether or not Microsoft is seeing a return on their investment into AI, and what they intend to do with their CapEx spending on AI infrastructure moving forward. Keep in mind, both Microsoft and AMD technically had good quarters. However, expectations are so extremely high right now for megacap tech earnings, and if one of these companies reports and doesn't check every single box, then their stock is most likely going to get hammered, at least in the short term. As for NVIDIA, we have the Microsoft conference call, then we have Meta earnings Wednesday after market close, and then both Amazon and Apple earnings on Thursday. It's important to pay extra close attention specifically to Meta and Amazon's earnings results this week because both companies are big customers of NVIDIA. Apple is not so much a customer of NVIDIA, and so their report is important for the overall market, but not as much for NVIDIA. With that in mind, I'm especially interested to learn more about Amazon and Meta CapEx spending, whether or not they are seeing a substantial ROI on AI investments yet, and what their forward-looking guidance is. As I've said in recent videos, the entire market has been holding its breath this week and anxiously awaiting megacap tech earnings. And even if I had all of these companies' earnings reports in front of me right now, I could not honestly tell you how market participants would react because there are differing opinions on these hyperscalers' enormous investments into AI infrastructure. Some market participants are wondering if these companies will see any return on their AI investments, and other market participants think these companies will see a return, but they are wondering how long it will take before a substantial ROI shows up on these companies' balance sheets. Personally, I think these companies will see a substantial return on their AI investments. I just don't know what the time frame is. That's it for now. Just a quick update on NVIDIA. For now, I'm waiting on Microsoft's earnings conference call to begin, and we will go from there. With all of that being said, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'm curious to know your thoughts on NVIDIA in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.